Sure, when we're kids, we all think our parents are evil. But what happens when we find out they actually are? It's the story of 6 LA youths who discover their parents' deep, dark secret. Marvel's Runaways! Season 1, Episode 1. Reunion. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to our review of Season 1 of The Runaways. So yes, we're going to be entering into some spoiler territory starting about now. So yes, countdown to Season 2, so very glad to get a chance to go back and rewatch this series, which I have to say, really well done. I mean, obviously, big fan of all of the Marvel properties, but I think they've done an incredible job in how they've developed their television shows. They've got a real great basis in reality. They really feel like these are stories that are being told in our world, and I think it makes an easy association with the characters too. They also feel a lot more grounded. And so I really like how this series specifically really seems to be pulling out of just the natural world around us. You know, this isn't even overly dramatized. This isn't over the top. This really does feel like something that can be happening. And I think they've done an amazing job with this whole series. So let's kick things off with Episode 1, Reunion. And they do a really great job, I think, of establishing this world straight off the bat. I mean, first thing that caught my eye, wonderful use of colors. Reminded me actually a lot of the Netflix series of the Daredevils and Jessica Jones and such. With the strong use of color to really paint a background picture. And I think it does a great job of kind of giving that vivid colors we see in comics without getting really over the top. We're of course introduced to Destiny straight off the top, who appears to be a runaway herself. Establishing a little identity right off the bat. Who, lost, not knowing what to do, does fall into the Gaborim Church. And I have to say, I got a kick out of that opening scene where she's on the streets and the two apparent gang members show up speaking in Spanish, accosting her, and how they get tased by the members of the Gaborim who pull Destiny in, and we just get that final shot of the two, I don't know, we'll call them gangbangers, just sitting there leaned up against the back wall, just talking about how she would have been much safer with them. Which, I mean, in some ways, I guess, gives us an idea about the church straight off. And it might have been interesting if they were in a way seeming to warn Destiny of what she could be walking into. But let's be honest, they weren't being nice. That body language, the discussion, that was not, hey, look out for this crazy cult church, you're going to be in danger. It looks like they were going to cause a little bit of trouble with Destiny herself. Though again, if they were about to cause problems, and they're saying that she would have been better off with them, like I said, really good job of establishing the dark reputation of the Gaborim Church sort of straight off here. And after that, we get into our introduction of all of our characters, Alex, Gert, Molly, Chase, Carolina. And I have to say, I really enjoyed how these characters were introduced. We're not dealing with narration. You know, when overly just exposition, these are the characters, these are the worlds that they live in. And even the scenes that they have are not overly expository unto themselves. They're not trying to give a blank A, B, and C of these characters, their relationships, and what's going on. They give us a slice of life. They give us just a moment to illustrate who the kids are, their relationship with the family, with their parents. And again, I think that was done really well. With Chase and his dad, we're finding out we got a very imposing father figure who doesn't really care necessarily a whole lot about his kid, and his son who is trying to impress his dad. With Gert and Molly, we're finding out very much how Gert's parents are the total hippies, which I love, with all the brand discussions and being regular, and here's this. I mean, the parents that want to be so cool, they're actually making you uncomfortable with how much everything is just easy to talk about. We've got Nico's parents, Tina and Roger, and we can automatically see, again, another imposing a parental figure. For Chase, it's his dad. For Nico, it's her mom. But again, very, very strict, and also getting our little first insights into Amy, or the loss of Amy, and the effect that that has had on. Alex's introduction, again, also really well. And I loved how they let us know the passage of time from the last time he had signed on into the game, 2 years. So, again, these are all really excellent ways of setting up the world, the characters, the stories, the interaction, without going into straight exposition. Again, getting our A, B's, and D's. We are getting a slice of life that automatically tells us about these relationships. And I thought that was done just incredibly well. Pacing-wise, I thought the episode, again, for the most part, really well done. I gotta say, this was kind of odd for me, because part of it was I love the time that they took to establish the world and the characters, and again, their slice of lives and their interactions, and how these were friends, but they're not really, friends anymore, and they've sort of drifted apart. And each of these moments, even the parent stories and everything, I liked how they spent time letting that naturally come out. That being said, by about, 2/3 through the episode, maybe 3/4 the way through, I started feeling like things were taking too much time. And I know that's sort of an odd critique to make, like, I love how much time they took, but they took too much time. But it did sort of seem like that. And I know this is the opening episode, and we're establishing the world, and it's a little longer than some of the other episodes, 5-10 minutes, I think. So they have a little bit of extra time to do this. And maybe that's just it, that the episode started to feel long. But yeah, it was one of those interesting little notes that I took, that I loved the time that they took. I loved all of that. But yeah, at about 2/3 of the way through, 3/4, I'm like, all right, let's get things going. Let's get this setup happening. Which of course leads us to our big meeting at the end. Alex wanting to get together, kind of, reconnect with everyone else. It's been a long enough time, missing his friends. And while everyone, the rest of the friends, seem to not care about that connection, care about reconnecting with each other, care about a reunion, natural events do tend to swing everybody in this direction. You've got, of course, Gert, who's got a bit of a crush on Chase. Feeling left out, that she is stuck waiting for Chase to show up for Spanish lessons. But of course he's not, because he kind of forgot about it, went off at the party with his buddies. But here we get a little, again, extra insight into that. We get how Chase does seem to be the standard jock character, but he is not without a heart. When he sees Carolina there and he sees his buddies going after that he immediately steps up, starts the fight with them, pulls her back, pulls her away, and that's how he ends up showing up at over at Alex's house. Which again, I think this is a great thing. We have the expectations of where we see jock characters and how they behave, and how he's in a way wearing that mask, I think, to protect himself. And and that's sort of a theme that sort of continues on when we have Carolina earlier on in the episode, how she is taking all her selfies and blessed and everything, and gets the feedback that no, brainwashed, and she's in the bathroom and she's crying and tearing out. And then of course we have Nico coming in, who is also having one of those vulnerable moments. They have that little discussion about masks. You don't have to wear all that makeup. It's like a mask to hide behind. Well, maybe a smile is a mask to hide behind as well. And I think for Chase, the jockness was a mask to hide himself behind also. So we've got even Gert, her, pro women fight the power, the take out the paternal establishment, in a way is a guise, a mask. Again, not foreign to herself, but something that she is overly embracing to hide behind, to prevent her discomfort with dealing with the rest of the world. So again, masks kind of an interesting analogy to have that can really play over all of the characters. Speaking of Carolina, we do have the cool first glimpse into powers, which sort of establishes off this episode both her and Molly, which again, subtly, nicely done, not over the top. We've got Carolina shows up to the party because she's learning from Destiny how to rebel, and gets the pill, the drug, which I'm assuming is an ecstasy probably type kind of thing. And she pulls off her bracelet, and finally the colors come up. Oh, and that, I guess, ends up being overwhelming. I guess that's what we're also seeing now, this emergence of powers overwhelms the bodies. For Carolina, obviously, releasing that power that the bracelet seemed to be inhibiting, she can enjoy that for a moment and then immediately go out. Molly, on the other hand, also with her body transitions that they seem to imply upon, her power starting to come out under stress, under guise, also very cool, but immediately knocks her out. So I like how we have this development of powers, these discoveries, but everything has a cost. It's not just ooh, wow, this amazing thing that I can do. It really is almost a questioning of where it is that we're coming from the beginning. And then, of course, also showing up at Alex's place is Nico, who, after the loss of her sister, obviously has withdrawn, but misses her sister terribly. That whole scene in the beginning with her and her mom, how they're sort of fighting about preserving Amy's memory and everything that's there in the room without touching it. And yet, as a sister, Nico wants to have her sister around her, acknowledge that, have that still be a part of her life, which drives her to try some sort of dark spell on the beach there, apparently a recall, seeing if she can call her sister back, which, yeah, that doesn't work. So all of these instances, all of these memories, this is an anniversary, so it makes sense that eventually, with all of these other plans sort of falling apart, they would naturally come up and show up at Alex's house, which leads to the dark discovery of what's down in the basement. Clink, clink. I love the coasters. You spin that and that's what opens up the door. It's better than the Batman take the statue back and click the little switch inside. A little more interesting. But yeah, so we get to discover the dark sanctum, which easily implied much older than the house. And art-wise, they do a great job of showing the distinction between the house and the downstairs and the basement, that these do appear to be very separate things, very different both in style and age. And that's, of course, when we end up getting our glimpse of the loss of Destiny down there, and the giant glowing box. And the bit of discovery! Flashing light, Molly. You know, this is what you let everybody see. That's what happens when you let everybody see. You're trying to protect her. She's going to bring out her phone, flashing light. Always watch flashes, kids, when you're taking pictures of dark, evil rituals and such. Just be sure your flash isn't always on. Which gets to our big discovery, and again, a perfect way to sort of end the episode. We have our introductions, we bring everything together, and then we have the problem immediately discovered. Oh my God, what is it that we just saw? And a couple of small things with episode 1. One, we do get to see a little insight into Chase's brain. Not just a dumb jock, but also making plans for some fighting gloves. which we will see later on. Also, we're getting a little bit of insight into some attraction between Nico and Alex, which is, I think, a good, safe relationship. I actually love that scene they have over the school where they're kind of panning from person to person as everyone is either acknowledging or ignoring one other member of the group here. And then, of course, finally we have the shot of Alex looking down on Nico. So, again, great setup for character work really throughout this episode. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap things up. Now you maybe noticed doing things a little differently with these reviews. Instead of doing one giant review with a chunk of episodes, I'm going to try and just do a bunch of smaller reviews, small little bits, a little bit shorter, bite-sized reviews. I'm not sure if that's going to be able to continue. It's sort of a rush until season 2 comes out. But this is where we're gonna start this way. So thank you for joining me on this review. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button, comments, leave them down in the section below. Want to catch me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, it's right here. Subscribe with this button, check out these reviews, all of this stuff. It's fun. All right, thanks again. We'll see you soon. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.